Hello, in this video we will go through 2019 May SAT Math Exam Section 3, Question 5. For this question, it is going to focus on the topic in geometry, which focuses on the parallel lines. So let's take a look. It says in the figure above, line T intersects line L and K, which of the following statements, if true, would imply that lines L and K are parallel. Now there are there are some traps right here, so you have to be very careful with the concepts that you are going to use in this question. So let's go a little bit technical right here. The line T right here, it's also known as a transversal. Okay, if you go through the topic of parallel lines, you would know that there are always two lines, presumably parallel, and then you have a line that cuts through those two parallel lines, and that's called the transversal. Now, in order to prove that line L and K are the same, we have three ways to prove it. Okay, so number one, it's called the corresponding angle. Corresponding angles theorem. Now, since we are not using an existing pair of parallel lines to prove the angles being the same, so to be technically correct, we are actually using the converse. Okay, the converse of the corresponding angles theorem, meaning that if the corresponding angles are the same, then the lines will be parallel. That's the converse. Now, let me show you an example of corresponding angles. So the way I look at this is angle Y and angle Z would be an example of corresponding angles. Now, if we do have that choice, then we can easily pick that as an answer. Unfortunately, that is not. Okay, so we'll talk about that later. Now, if you ask, how can you tell? How can you find out the corresponding angles fairly easily? This is what I teach to my students. I'm going to go over three letters, and that's how you can pick out the corresponding angles. So in order to find out the corresponding angles, I like to think of the letter F, as you can see here that I highlighted. So if you can find the letter F, okay, with the lines, then in the armpit area of the F, that would be the corresponding angles. Okay, so we don't have that option. Now, of course, there are other options with corresponding angles. So if you can take a look at angle X and also right here, which is unnamed angle, that's also a pair of corresponding angles, and the F will be this. It's upside down, so still an F. Okay, so there are other examples right here, but that's not going to give us any direct hint to the answer. So we'll move over to the second possible choice. Okay, oops, let me change to green. So number two, the other one that we can consider, it's called the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem. Okay, now how do you find out the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem? Well, first we will need to find out what it's considered as an alternate interior angle or angles. So to help you find out the location of these alternate interior angles, then I would introduce you to the letter Z. Oops, sorry, that's not what I intend to do. Is the angle, is the letter Z right here. In this letter Z, then the armpit area, again, they would be considered as the alternate interior angles. Now, unfortunately, these two angles are unlabeled. So that could that we cannot really use it. The letter Z that we can see is this one. So we have the angle y right here, and this unlabeled angle as a pair of alternate interior angles. Unfortunately, that would not be an option. So we will say, all right, let's consider the third possible reason. We will say, all right, third possible reason is the converse of the same side interior angles theorem. And to help us spot out the same side interior angles, I would like to use the letter C to help you spot out the angles. And it will be this angle and this angle. They should add up to 180. They should add up to, let me do it better. These two together would give you 180 degrees. Okay, so the same side interior angles theorem, which would be supplementary to each other. Okay, again, we really don't have the angles that would add up to 180. So now we have a little dilemma right here, which is what will be the correct answer. Okay, now, so we can say, wait, hold on. There's a suspect right here. At least we can tell what angles are the same. Okay, so earlier, as we go through number one, we said that the y angle and the z angle are the same, right? But we don't have that answer choice. So we wonder if there is any other angles, any other angle that would help us out. Okay, well, if you understand the vertical angles, okay, which is that when you have two angles formed by two straight lines, the ones that it's vertically across would be the same. So in this case, W it's the same as Y. Okay, now we have a huge advantage here. We have some good hint. So now we have to consider: is it this or is it this? Because they are both true statements. But don't forget about the question. The question was, which one of the following would help imply that the line L and K are parallel? If you just think that, oh yeah, they are the same, W and Y will be the same, that only shows you that, oh, there are two straight lines, they are vertically across. It doesn't provide any kind of support that the two lines are parallel. So it is very, very important that you draw the angle Z into the discussion. So that's why the answer must be B. Okay, so I want to make sure that everyone is clear here that choice A is a true statement, but it doesn't help proving our case. So that's why we have to choose B. And that also leads us to the a variant of the of this theorem right here is the converse of the alternate exterior angles. Okay, so if you can learn this as well, then it would also help. But I would say you can probably confine your knowledge into these top three reasons: the corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, and same side interior angles being supplementary to each other. Okay, so make sure you understand the difference between a true statement and a statement that would actually help you prove the case.
After watching this video, did you learn something new? I hope this video helps you. If it does, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and also make sure to check out other videos on this channel. See you soon!